is Louis Dambra there? Hi, not sure how to start this off. I guess I'll ask the first question. Did you used to be in a band called Sir Lord Baltimore?
Yes, many years ago.
Yeah, this is you. God, I can't believe this.
Yeah, man.
No, well, here's the deal. After all these many years, I'm still a big fan.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
That's really strange.
I don't know. Yeah, I called your uncle in Hempstead, and they didn't know how to get a hold of you.
Uh-huh.
And so I finally, they said you moved to California. I thought, well, the odds are pretty good that it's L.A., so...
Yeah.
I'm
listed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there was only one listing.
Yeah, that's me.
So I was pretty,
So you're still an avid fan, huh?
Yeah. And, it's unbelievably hard to track down any information. You're going to hear beeps occasionally because I'm recording this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's just very little out there. You know, as far as I know, there's the 2 albums. This one single I've managed to track down.
You actually tracked it down. Yeah, there was just a few places out here that had the album. That was years ago. I picked up a few of them.
Yeah.
My parents have a couple of copies.
Yeah, I've got the records, and in fact, I even turned up a German copy of Kingdom Come.
Really?
And then there's a single of Master Heartache. Was there any singles off the other album?
No, I don't believe so.
So there's just the one single.
Yeah, we did 2 albums. Are you calling long distance?
Yeah, I'm calling from Seattle.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
So what's this mystique with Sir Lord Baltimore? I can't believe I'm hearing this so many years later.
Well, it's just those 2 records have stood the test of time. And, you know, I pretty much grew up in that period, and I remember even the first time I heard Kingdom Come on the radio up here, it just blew me away because it was so much more intense than everything else.
Yeah, they were a pretty intense group.
Yeah, you're telling me. So,
Can you hold on 1 second?
Yeah, you bet.
Hang up on the other line.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. So,
So you're still a fan?
Yeah, still a fan. And you know, my musical tastes are pretty wide-ranging, and I don't know, those albums still are just I don't know. they're I don't know. I just lived off. I still turn people on to those. You know, they still can't believe when they were recorded, and
Really? That's
I don't know. They're just one of my favorite bands from then and still now. So.
pretty interesting.
And
I wonder if John still has the same number, my drummer.
Yeah, what's the deal on that?
I don't know. He's probably still playing. I don't.
Where's he?
He's back in New York. I know.
Uh-huh.
His telephone number is GE55512.
GE5.
Never changed. I don't know. I haven't called him in years now.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it a shot because
I think he's in Brooklyn. The last time I knew.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know what the area code is over there.
Yeah.
I know it's in Borough Park.
Yeah. Well, if I could find you.
Yeah, maybe you'll be able to find him. But that's the telephone number.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot. If nothing else, I can try Brooklyn.
Maybe you can link the band back up together to do your personal appearance.
Yeah, there you go. Well, also, we might as well just get started with the beginning if you got a few minutes.
Sure.
Like a brief history of the band.
Oh boy.
You know, like, were you guys in any bands that put anything out before Sir Lord Baltimore? And
interestingly enough, no, not really. I was in one other band prior to that had some album interest.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, I forget what the name of the band was. Koala at the time.
Oh.
And that was from they advertised this as being from Australia. Well, I was really young at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Just prior to Sir Lord Baltimore. And finally I met John and the drummer, and then we met the bass player. Pretty much we really hit it off, and that was it. It was the basic history was we went from pretty much the basement to Carnegie Hall.
Yeah, so that was 1970.
Yeah, just around there. That's when I think we played the Fillmore and places like that. We were fortunate enough to know someone that at that time we were doing some recording out on the island, on Long Island, I believe. No, it was in New Jersey at the time, and he happened to know one of the big managers, D'Anthony, who was, Peter Frampton.
Yeah, he was working with Humboldt. Yeah.
And that was really our great opportunity because pretty much we went, like I said, from the basement to Carnegie Hall.
Yeah, now what about Mike Appel and Jim Creticos?
Well, they came further down the line. What had happened with them is we were with D'Anthony, and I believe we had, let me see, who was the producer? You know, we had a pretty famous producer on the first.
Eddie Kramer was on.
Eddie Kramer, right?
Yeah.
We were recording at an Electric Ladyland, and then I believe on I think it was the second album, we had another producer who came in for an interim period, and then I believe Mike Appel came in. And he was originally brought in, I believe, with D'Anthony as an outside producer and writer.
Yeah.
Originally. And then, strangely, what had happened, we had gone through that whole deal with them, and we had broken away from D'Anthony, and then Mike Appel had got into management position of his own.
Okay.
And then he had heard us. I had a group together, and we were just doing pretty much cover stuff.
What kind of covers?
Just, basic covers, some originals and some covers, and we were in the club. I remember at that time I was with a woman at the time. She was in the band. I was momentarily married, I think. Just for a minute. I think that was annulled rather quickly.
Yeah.
But he came to listen to the band, and he says, "What are you guys doing this?" He says, "Come with me," because I think at that time he just was coming out of a settlement with Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Separation. And he had his access as part of the settlement because they settled in his favor. That, I don't know how much money was settled, but he was also given, I think, a couple of contracts, $1 million contracts on Columbia.
Yeah.
And he says, look, don't come out of this. He says, let's go do it about it.
Yeah.
He was like a little kid. When he would hear the riffs and the music that we were writing, and just he was there at the part of the creation of the music. I mean, he'd be jumping down. He would up and down. He was so excited.
That's wild, yeah, because I never quite understood, it's like I see his name on that record, and then later on his association with Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, so that's it. And we went to do another album with him on Columbia. And we had $1 million record deal, I remember. And the problem that we had was that we were not able to find someone to sing that could cut the music. There was not we had auditions for over 6 months in New York, I remember. We had the material written and all of that. There was not a person that could sing it the way it was written. And that brought me out. That's how I got out to California.
Yeah.
We had heard about a band that had broken up out here called Detective.
Oh, right, yeah.
With
Michael DeBars and everything.
Yeah, and he had, as a matter of fact, they flew him to New York. He came in, and we auditioned him, and we really liked him, but he had all his roots set here. He was married, he had a family.
Yeah, and what was the lineup for the band at this point?
The lineup was me, Gary, the Three Pieces, and John.
Right.
But at that time, they had changed the drummers. Mike Appel was having some sort of problem with John, and at that point he had brought in a whole new drummer trying to reform the group and bring in another singer.
Yeah.
Which didn't work out too well.
So was this about 74, 75?
I'm not sure of the year, to be perfectly honest with you.
Because I know Crawdaddy...
Yeah, probably was venturing around those years.
Yeah.
Maybe even later than that.
Because Crawdaddy, I think about 75, had a little blip that said, for those interested, Sir Lord Baltimore is reformed.
Yeah. And it was even probably later than that, because then we spent some time in New York working on that project.
Yeah.
And it's never came to pass because once he had put in the new drummer, John was doing all the singing.
Yeah.
And then we said, well, where are we going to find a singer that sings as radical as he does?
Yeah, no kidding.
He was unbelievable.
I know.
I could never believe how he could play that well and sing that well at the same time.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing with, why those albums to me have stood the test of time, because not only is the guitar playing just insane, but, John, yeah, the drumming is so frantic, and his vocals are just,
There was just a special chemistry there.
Yeah, and especially at that time, because most of the group, so-called metal groups were really slow and kind of, thug.
Yeah, they really were at that time, because I remember we weren't, even prior to Mike Appel, we were on tour with Black Sabbath.
Yeah, now how did that go? Now the rumor I heard was you guys got kicked off the tour because you were blowing him off the stage, famous rumored thing here.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much correct. Because,
yeah.
At one point they started letting us use their system.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had an inferior system compared to what they were carrying on the road, and my road manager was found favorable with them. He became friends with them, and they let us start using their system. So once we had a comparable system,
yeah,
we were giving them a hard time.
I bet, to say the least.
Yeah, we were actually blowing them off at that point.
Well, I've actually turned up a tour program from the Fillmore in '71 when you guys opened.
Are you kidding?
No, and it's got a little picture and everything, and
yeah, I could just now picture that picture.
Yeah. And a friend of mine out in, where is it, Maryland, is sending me a bio. He's actually got a copy of a bio. So it'll be interesting to see what Mercury Records had to say at the time. And
I think there was a clip that I think we were probably the claim to the word heavy metal.
Yeah.
Because Rodney Bingenheimer is pretty well known.
Mm-hmm.
Who he is, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I think he had one of his quotes on the, the reading of, listening to the album. He said it sounded like a metal factory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guitars were so intense and the drumming and stuff. And I believe that was one of the first, implications, the statements as to the birth of heavy metal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
I think we could actually almost claim that.
Yeah, except, and I would say that for sure, but at the same time,
there were other groups.
Yeah, there's other groups, but too, I always saw you guys as more having to do more with the Stooges than other metal groups, because there was just so much frantic energy and
yeah, it was intense.
Yeah, really intense.
What's this all leading up to? I don't even know your name.
Oh, my name's Brian.
Oh, hi, Brian.
I don't know what it's leading up to. I just, it's been so hard for me to get any information about the band from any other source, and I've pretty much collected for years, and like I say, I've only turned up a handful of things, and it's really kind of a shame, being one of my favorite bands, and
to try to reach Mike Appel.
Yeah, that'd probably be kind of tricky.
He's probably still in business. The last time I heard, he still had an office, and he lives in Staten Island.
Yeah.
That's where he was living the last time I knew, and he's still doing management or something.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll give that a shot. So what's Justin up to these days?
Justin, the last time I knew or heard from him was many, many years ago. I was back in New York, and he had gotten married.
Mm-hmm.
His wife is in stockbroker.
Yeah.
And he got involved in the whole Wall Street deal.
Yeah.
For some, sense of
oh boy.
security and reality, I guess.
And what about your brother?
My brother is he's married. He's got children, and he's in the medical field now.
Huh.
But he still plays. We all still play,
Yeah. What about that Bloody Mary project? What's that all about?
That vaguely rings a bell.
Yeah, no, it kind of sounds like John Garner's voice. Now, supposedly it's ex-Sir Lord Baltimore. It's on Family Productions Records. It was recorded in Hempstead. But it bears no resemblance whatsoever to Sir Lord Baltimore. But it gets touted as that, so I'm wondering if that was John Garner project after...
I don't know. When did you hear of that?
That's about 74, 75. 74 sounds about right. So maybe...
I'm not too familiar with the Bloody Mary.
So what eventually led to a breakup?
Well, just that separation. We were in need of a singer.
Yeah.
We could not find a singer. So me and Gary, Justin, moved out to California. And we pursued an album deal with, Michael DeBarr.
Yeah.
We were out here for many years trying to make it.
Yeah.
Putting a band together with him, and then we went through Avalon Attraction. And he was under management at the time, and it just never worked out with him.
Yeah.
And then we had a few other groups out here at the time, doing some local gigs and stuff. But it got to a point it was just really difficult.
Yeah.
We had the following that we had in New York, and we tried many different. We had some real good groups here and some real good music that was put together over the years, but never really hit it off. And he wound up going back to New York. I remained, and I was still doing some studio stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, we ventured into doing some music for film for a while.
Yeah.
Up with a production company. We started to touch on that market, but that was it. And then after that, just kind of broke down where he said he finally wanted to have some security in life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I sympathized with him, and he went back to New York.
Yeah.
Next thing I heard, he wound up getting married, and that was it.
Yeah. Huh. So the original band was together from what, 70 to 73, basically?
Yeah, I guess the original. Might have even gone further than that. Like I said, that time involvement with Mike, because it was that broken up period for a period of time.
Yeah.
There was that in between 70, I don't know what the exact years were, 72 to 74 or something. We were still doing some other stuff together.
Yeah.
But not as going out as Sir Lord Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then Mike came back in the picture. I don't know that's why I said if you checked with him, he'd give you the exact years, because we didn't come out to California until 78.
Right.
So, I mean, that project had to last from anywhere from coming to Mike for that Columbia deal between 76 and 78.
Yeah.
So actually the band was together, but we weren't out on the market.
Huh. That must have been real frustrating.
It was.
Jeez.
We had some incredible music too.
Yeah.
I still have some of the original tapes for that.
Yeah, what's the deal on tapes is, actually
I still have the unmixed down versions of the 16 to 24 tracks from the last stuff.
Uh-huh. Huh. And who does that feature?
That features the regular band.
Yeah.
Gary and John under Mike Appel.
Yeah.
The unfinished tapes, really.
Huh. So that's the last sessions.
Yeah, the real last sessions, and that music was incredible.
Huh.
And we had gotten involved with, just a lot of people.
Yeah.
Jimmy Iovine was in there at one moment in time. He's pretty well known now.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And he came in, as a matter of fact, he was going to be the producer at that time. But him and Mike could not come into an agreement.
Yeah.
But he was there for a period of time, and he was going to work with the band.
Oh boy.
Prior to coming to California, so a lot went on for many years.
Yeah.
When we get into it, it's all coming back. I don't know the exact date. So
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
But it's pretty incredible. And now I still play music, but that's not my full-time thing.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be the route to go.
Yeah, but I still play tense guitar,
Yeah, so, what...
I got into all kinds of stuff, synthesizers, stuff, synth guitars, all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done that many years, and now I'm into a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I help out a lot of people.
Yeah, so what are you up to these days?
Oh, you probably wouldn't believe it if I told you. I work with the homeless.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I've gotten into the ministry. I'm actually a Christian minister now.
Uh-huh.
And which is probably a far extreme from that.
Yeah. From hellhound to
heaven hound.
Yeah. Oh no, that's great.
Yeah.
No,
it's interesting because what was his name? Mark Farner from Grand.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah.
I heard him. See him around in the Christian setting, made the big transition. And,
yeah.
You know, Jeff Fenholm, who he was with Black Sabbath.
Oh right, yeah.
He's in the big Christian market out here. He's still singing his head off, but he's doing Christian music now.
Well, that's great. You know, I think a lot of people don't think Christian music has an edge, and there's quite a few examples to the contrary.
When you hear Jeff sing, the music that he's doing, you know, that made the big change. So
yeah,
I started doing some Christian music. I put some projects together,
and
that didn't really fly because the Lord had something else for me. So
yeah.
But I'm still doing music now. I did some really interesting tapes just about over the past year.
Huh.
Very progressive stuff.
Yeah, what's the chances of getting any of these tapes?
I don't know. You'd have to come to California to come visit.
Yeah. I might have to do that, because
I might have to just, maybe I could compile some stuff for you.
Yeah, because, I don't know.
It would be interesting that those tapes I still, as a matter of fact, I still have them in my cabinet right here somewhere. Yeah, I got some of the original tapes sitting right in front of me.
Huh. Yeah, because I'd be curious to hear what you're doing now and things you've done in between. But
yeah,
obviously my motivation for calling those last sessions are certainly intriguing.
Yeah, well, they got far more intense from that point on too.
Huh.
Music got really intense.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. Is there any live tapes?
Live. Well, you know, a lot of the stuff that we did with Mike Appel was recorded live in the studio.
Yeah.
We were going that route and considered to do that because, I don't know, that spontaneity that we had as a group was so incredible.
Yeah.
We didn't want to, you know what I mean, just filter that out.
Oh yeah, definitely. In fact, I play in a band right now, and I don't know, I suppose in some way we're somewhat influenced by Sword Baltimore after all. And yeah, it's the same sort of thing. You know, I almost like a lot of our rehearsal tapes better than the way things eventually turn out.
Because we always tried, and I was always a stickler for that.
Yeah.
Hey man, we gotta capture the spontaneity, creativity.
Yeah.
You know, that's what was very special about us. We always pushed for that. We had it. I believe it was a gift.
Yeah.
And that's what made us different.
Well, it certainly came across on the recordings.
Yeah, because man, I got basement tapes that will blow your mind.
Yeah, well that's...
Stuff that was so incredible.
I'm ready.
Yeah. I don't even know where I would look for them, but I have bags of them somewhere.
Yeah, I'd...
Tapes with John, and I can go through them. There's some stuff in there that, boy...
Yeah, some rehearsals and stuff, that'd be great.
Stuff that, when they were put together, you wish you could have just mastered them right there.
Yeah.
I mean, just the stuff that me and John and the bass player would do together,
it
was hard to duplicate them.
Yeah.
That's why I said, let's get into the studio and really set up, you know, for 24-track purposes. But, you know, just let's go for our spontaneity, creativity, and capture it on master quality tape.
Yeah.
We would have something super special. And we went for that as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
10 years, guy.
Well, this is great. I'm
Tremendous.
I'm still
I'm in shock.
well, you and me both. Because, you know, here it is, what is it, about 20 years or so? 20 years or so, and I'm actually talking to this guy, you know. And
It's hard to believe that we're still here to talk.
No doubt.
It's hard to believe 20 years has passed, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing, too, you know. It's like, you know, if those records had dated, because I still keep fairly current with, you know, today's scene and the underground and all this good stuff, and Seattle's a good place to be for that right now, as a matter of fact. And, you know, it's like I would have lost my interest at some point if those records were dated, but they're not. You know, and even though they're a peculiar kind of music and an intense one, and certainly not everyone's cup of tea. They've, you know, everybody I've played them for, you know, first of all, the odds of them hearing of it before are fairly slim, as you probably know. And then when they finally do hear it, you know, because I just like, yeah, you got to hear these guys. You know, it never fails to just totally blow their mind.
And you have the second album too, huh?
Oh yeah.
There's some really good guitar playing.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Well, that's the other thing too, you know, and you know, not only everything else I've said already, but just the quality of the work, particularly for the time, is
yeah, there's some solos on that album. Those could stand the test of time, I think.
Oh yeah, or stand the hairs on the back of your neck.
My kid brother was some guitar player too.
Yeah. Oh God. So now which album was first?
Kingdom Come.
Okay. I was never quite sure on that. I mean, the Matrix numbers would indicate that was true, but
Kingdom Come was the first album.
Yeah.
That was really raw.
Yeah, no kidding.
Basic in the recording too.
But phew, man.
Not much more we could say. But
Yeah. Well.
Welcome to keep in touch. You have my name and number. I think.
Yeah. Can I get your address?
Yes, it's 5638
Okay.
Tuxedo, Tuxedo Terrace. It's Los Angeles, 90068.
90068. Okay. Well, great. Can't tell you what a treat it is. I'm sure you've gotten the impression that it is. I'm just delighted. So,
Glad to make your acquaintance, even though it's over the phone.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. I might
Be able to. As a matter of fact, you could call. I don't know if you can get information on John, but his last name is Garner.
Oh, okay.
Garneri. The last time I remember, I think he lived at 1134 54th Street.
54th.
I think that was Borough Park, Brooklyn.
Okay. How does he spell his name again now?
Garneri, Guar, I believe, Neri.
Neri. Okay. Huh.
If you reach him, give him my number.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, that. I don't know. That's too much to hope for to talk to two of you guys in one day. Come on. Oh boy. Okay. Well.
Let me. I should take your name and number down.
Okay.
When it comes up.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What's your first name?
Brian Fox.
Brian Fox. What's your telephone number?
206 524 0790.
0790.
Yeah, and we're pretty much Seattle.
What's your address?
5042
5042
17th Avenue Northeast,
17th Avenue Northeast,
Seattle, Washington 98105.
98105. Maybe you could inspire me to go look into the artifacts.
Yeah, that'd be great, because
I think, between you and me, I'm wondering, I have a feeling John would have a lot of those tapes. A lot of those incredible basement tapes.
Yeah. Well,
I guess a lot of the stuff we started touching on after that album were like light years ahead of us.
yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'd like to hear as much as I could, because I worship this stuff. In a figurative sense.
Yeah?
Yeah, so anyway, I'll be talking to you more about that.
Yeah,
And,
give me a call from time to time.
yeah, we'll do. And also, I don't know who controls those masters and stuff. I could actually point you to the way of somebody to be interested in releasing them, even this late in the game.
Really?
Yeah. There's a couple of independent labels that specialize in releasing older classic stuff, and it probably wouldn't be. It would probably only get attention, in collector circles, essentially.
Yeah, probably.
But
Oh, to put together something, get some information. I don't, like I said, I don't know what the possibilities of backtracking to who those rights go to.
Yeah.
I wonder if D'Antoni is still around, and all those people.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the business, somewhere.
Buried deep in the business.
Very deep in the
Yeah. It wouldn't be the first time somebody was buried deep in the business.
Yeah, well, you could.
Yeah, I sure did. That's amazing because, basically I just figured, well,
I called information for Hempstead because I noticed. Now, did you have anything to do with Bloody Mary?
What's that, a group?
Yeah.
No.
Because, oddly enough, there's a record by a group called Bloody Mary out of Hempstead, and it's being touted as ex-Sir Lord Baltimore guys.
Oh, is that a fact?
Yeah, and it basically, if you...
Mary.
Yeah.
I heard of it, no.
Yeah, and if you really stretch your imagination, you can imagine, well, God, maybe, but it just didn't seem likely because it was such a far stretch from the quality of Sir Lord Baltimore.
No, thank you. I'm glad you liked us. We were very young then.
Yeah.
We could have made that record sound a lot better.
Well, I don't have any complaints. I don't have any complaints at all. I still turn people onto those records, and
No kidding, huh?
in fact, I had an extra copy of Kingdom Come. I just sold to a friend of mine a couple days ago. We're both in bands still, and
That's wild.
so I don't know. You got a few minutes?
Sure.
Because basically, I talked to Lewis for a while, and I want to fill in some more holes about the band's history. Because basically, what prompted me to contact you guys is it's just been absolutely impossible to get any information about the group all these years. From any sources. Well, basically, I'm more or less a collector, and
you got the best source.
Yeah. No kidding.
You play, Brian?
Yeah.
What do you play?
Well, I'm a singer of sorts. I play enough guitar to write songs. I'm in a group that probably in some weird way is influenced by you guys. In fact, we've tried to do a cover of Pumped Up for a few years, but it's such a diabolical song that it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to do it any justice.
Yeah.
That's what was funny to me is finding out about Lewis, what he's up to now, considering.
Yeah, considering, right?
Considering what?
Never believe what you see on the outside.
Yeah.
Like Black Sabbath.
Huh?
Like a group like Black Sabbath.
Oh, yeah.
They're not into blacks. They're not into witchcraft.
Oh, right.
Bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't.
It's just a front. It's like Vincent, like a Vincent Price movie. The guy plays the Phantom of the Opera. Doesn't mean he's a maniac.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I didn't feel like you guys were.
Nah. We were just crazy young guys.
Yeah. So what? Actually, that's one of the things I wanted to ask. Is what exactly were you guys trying to do? Because I know, for one thing, you guys were a lot more frantic and manic than most metal bands around that time.
Yeah. Well, we were a little hyper, I guess.
God, to say the least. I mean, here punk rock's come and gone, and you guys still sound.
Yeah. Well, we were ahead of our time as far as that was concerned.
Yeah.
But
were you trying to be?
It was really getting to be what we would want it to be.
Uh-huh.
The quality was getting better. The format was becoming much more polished.
Mm-hmm.
The sounds were becoming more thicker and richer.
Yeah.
And we just had those regular problems in life,
Yeah.
Partying too much, getting high too much. You just got to put the drugs away. We were young kids. Everybody was getting high too much. It was partying too much, and it caught up. And then the management didn't seem to properly dictate.
Yeah. You told me all that stuff about Mike Appel, and
there was no. We were rehearsing for 2 years, and all of a sudden I said, "Hey, it's about time to go on a tour here. What's happening?" And that's when all the trouble started. That's when he was in litigation with Bruce Springsteen.
Right. In fact, that's one of the things that amazed me, because I was like, you know, years later I see Mike Appel's connection with, and I thought, God, that name sounds familiar. So I went back to the old Baltimore albums, and I was like,
yeah,
what a
Bruce back then. When I first met Bruce, he had like a very sad look on his face, like wow, you guys are with Mike,
mm-hmm.
you know, that kind of thing. And I didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
It looked like he wanted to tell us something real bad, but because of legalities and because of what was going on, I think he thought it was best to keep his mouth closed about the subject. But
yeah.
we were young and crazy and wild, and you know, we were good guys. All of us were good guys, you know, with good head on our shoulders, but we were partying too much, and it was just tough all the way around.
Yeah. I just.
Respect.
Yeah.
You know, Louis went another way. You know, found God.
Right. Well, I couldn't believe they were going to hook up with Michael DeBars, too. I mean...
Who was that?
Well, he told me that they went out to California with Mike Appel and hooked up with Mike DeBars from Detective and...
Oh, the lead singer?
Yeah.
When they got hit by a truck.
Oh, is that... Oh, really?
What happened? What happened exactly? I
was
told that he died, right?
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
Is this guy Mike DeBars you're talking about? Is he still alive?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm thinking about somebody else then.
Yeah, this is this guy, and he used to be in Silverhead and all that. And,
oh, really? I don't know.
And, you know, and they said they had a hard time replacing you, and you know, my feeling is like, why do that? Because,
yeah, no, well, that was because, actually, the problem, the truth of the matter is with drug-orientated problems.
Yeah.
You know, people just getting too high.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of who was doing what.
Mm-hmm.
See, at that time, some people thought that taking cocaine was the best thing.
Right.
Not the best thing, it was acceptable. Whereas it wasn't. Now, today you see it on TV all the time. You don't take coke. People think coke is cool. It's not cool.
Right.
Coke is just a killer. In any respect, in a way, it just does a lot of harm.
Oh, yeah.
And had it been, quite honestly, had it not been for, if that was never introduced in my life, I would be a much bigger music business myself.
Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of that around here, too, so...
It got to the point where it hurt me and it ended up hurting everybody else. You know, but at that time, you don't think it is, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, and there was a lot more supportive atmosphere about it, too, then, compared to now.
Accepted, it was socially accepted, but, hey, man, when you have to function, and then, you know, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, but basically, that truth of the matter is that was the root of the beginning of the breakup.
Yeah.
What you might say, the parting of ways. I was very into it. I was working very hard for the third album to be great, and it was happening. I got 4 cuts, but it was never released.
Yeah. So what? Now Lewis made it sound like he had a copy of a whole album.
Yeah. Now Louis has the master tape somewhere. I don't know what he did with it.
He still got it because he had it right there when I talked to him.
He does? Okay.
Yeah.
I spoke to him last week. He said he didn't know where it was. He probably found it.
Yeah.
And you know, the lyrics were kind of heavy. We had a song called "Love Slave."
Uh-huh.
And it was about this chick. She was a vamp, and she went to this bar, and she ended up being like a love slave kind of a person with a whip, you know, masochistic words. Now, you know, if you look at it from the religious viewpoint, it's not very nice. But if you look at it from the goof around viewpoint, hey man, it was brilliant, because the words, Mike Appel was great with lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And then we added our own little, you know, stuff with it that he built on.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote a story about a masochistic lover, and it was a joke, really. But when you think about it, putting it out and letting people hear it, especially younger kids at the time, you know, you might say to yourself, wow, you know, are we misleading the public with, I mean, are we being diabolical? Are we, you know, we were a little concerned about that. And that's when Louis went off and said, hey man, I don't want to be affiliated with any kind of lyrics that are going to do something, like say bad things like that, you know?
Yeah.
But then again, if Vincent Price turned around and said, hey man, these movies I'm doing is diabolical, he wouldn't have a career, would he?
Right.
You know, so it's
Yeah, change.
controversial, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. So I got kind of basically the history of the band from his side. You know, how?
You want to know how it started?
Yeah, like how did it start? Now he was in a band like called Koala or something, and then he hooked up with you guys, you and Gary.
Yeah, he was in a band called Koala. I met him at Newchik High School.
Mm-hmm.
And we got together. I said, "Hey, let's jam." You know, I was with a 12-piece black band at that time, or was I with? I forgot. Wait a minute. No, that came later. That 12-piece black band. That came later. What was I doing? I was, I don't remember. So long ago.
It is.
I was jamming a lot. I was in a lot of bands. I was in a Cream copy group. Then I was in a Cream copy group, a Jimi Hendrix copy group, and stuff like that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And
So then you
I
hooked
was
up.
jamming with Joey Carbone from Star Search.
Right.
He's the band leader now. Richie Zito, big producer for Eddie Money.
Oh yeah, Richie Zito.
A lot of other people. You know, we were all friends growing up in Bay Ridge, you know.
Huh.
Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. They were all very much close together.
Right.
So I met Louis one day, and I saw an ad in the Village Voice. Heavy band needed to record an album. So we got together. We put some songs really flimsily together. We just went down. We met Mike Appel and Jim Credigas, and they loved us. They loved us. So we went out to Van Tone Studios and started recording. Then he got D. Anthony, our manager.
Right, who did Frampton and Humble Pie and all those guys.
Right. And the rest is history. We went into the studio.
And that's where Kingdom Come came out of?
That's where Kingdom Come came out. That's where we started working with Eddie Kramer.
Right.
Eddie Kramer was with Jimi Hendrix at the time.
Yeah, he was big time.
Yeah, and
Because I got a tour program from the Fillmore East in '71.
yeah, I saw that book too. I saved one or two things. That's about it. I have that. We opened up our first job at Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
We opened up for free.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was the first thing we ever did. And I was 18, you know. You know, it's like, wow, man, this is like easy. I said, you know.
Yeah.
We basically just stepped in some shit, you know, and just
waded through
was
it.
lucky.
Yeah.
And I guess we weren't disciplined enough to,
Yeah.
you know, we were just so young that all this great stuff was happening to us, and we just like sort of flew off the handle maybe a little bit, I don't know. We went on a very short 30-day tour. We went to Virginia Beach. We opened up for Black Sabbath. Then we opened up for Mountain in New Orleans. Then we opened up for Johnny Winter in Pittsburgh. We opened up for Fleetwood Mac and Jay Giles at the Fillmore. That was the second job. Then we were in the Paps Theater in Milwaukee with Jay Giles again. And I believe Black Sabbath. Then we went to the Easttown Theater in Detroit. We opened up for Fleetwood Mac and Black Sabbath again.
Now I heard you got dropped from the tour because you were blowing them off the stage. That's what the rumor
Well, you
is
know
about.
what happened?
You started using their equipment.
Yeah, we started using their equipment because, you know, D. Anthony was good friends with some of the guys from Black Sabbath. You know what was happening? The roadies were sabotaging us. We were like blowing them away.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, the people were starting to really dig us, saying, you know, it was Black Sabbath.
Right.
You know, because quite honestly, we had our music was much more than their music.
Oh yeah, there's no question about it.
You know, they and then we were at the Dome Theater in Virginia Beach, and the power went out on us twice.
Oh
And it's
God.
funny because when they went on, the power never went off.
Yeah.
So I think I think we had some foul play happening over there with them.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne was a real nice guy. He was the nicest guy out of all of them. And Bill Ward.
Yeah.
Tony Iommi and the bass player. What was the bass player? Jim?
God, what? Geezer Butler.
Geezer Butler, right? Yeah. He was okay, but him and Tommy Iommi were a little stuck up. You know, they weren't as friendly as the drummer and Ozzy.
Well, you guys must have made him a little nervous too, because I mean.
I don't know. You know, like quite honestly, I was 18 years old. I was pretty oblivious to a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, you know, we were like, you know, like fresh kids. You know, we weren't like worldly wise. You know,
Yeah.
these things were happening.
But you're so much more intense than they were, God.
Yeah, we were more intense, and it came to mind that, hey man, we went on, the power went off twice, they went on, the power never went off. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
You know.
Jeez.
Yeah, and we didn't really have the best of it. We didn't have our own equipment on the. Well, we had our own amplifiers, but we didn't have our own
Right.
PA system, so we were using theirs, you know, and that's when the problems started happening.
Yeah, I bet.
D. Anthony didn't really promote our tour very well as far as having proper amplification for our concerts,
Right.
proper PA system and everything. You wouldn't believe it. One time we had to do a job somewhere. I forgot exactly where it was. I think it was in... Oh, wow. I forgot what town it was in, but anyway, you wouldn't believe it. You know what kind of PA system they had for us? 2 short columns, man. One on each side. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, God.
Get the hell out of here. Something's wrong here, man. This is fucked up. So, we didn't even mic the drums or anything like that. We just used the voice, you know, we used the PA just for the voice.
Yeah.
There was nothing mic'd. It was ridiculous.
Oh,
But,
God. Yeah. I can imagine.
yeah. And then we came home, and I was a little disgusted with the way management was handling things. And quite honestly, I think I quit the band.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I went to that 12-piece black band called Booby Night and Soul Society, which was on RCA Records, but I didn't make any albums with them. I was just touring with them here in Brooklyn. And then we got back together again with Mike, but Mike this time wasn't only our producer, but he was our manager too.
Right.
And we practiced for about 2 years. We put those
With Joey?
that was the second album with Joey.
Right.
Okay. We didn't even go on a tour for that, and that's when I got disgusted because, like, you know, it was prevalent. It was what's the word? Obvious that D. Anthony wasn't doing anything as far as promoting us anymore.
Right.
He didn't have the patience. He just wanted to make a quick buck. He didn't want to nurture the band or whatever. But Mike Appel did have the foresight to see that we had raw talent. And he wanted to get us back together again. So we got back together again. And we were getting ready to do a third album, and that's when everything sort of like... Mike Appel brought me into his office and told me that he's going to let me go, which devastated me.
Yeah.
I was totally devastated because that was my whole life.
I bet. I mean,
Oh man,
you guys together was kind of the band, and that was it.
Yeah.
You know, when I listen to those records, like, you know, that's why I can't imagine those guys going out to California and getting somebody else, because,
yeah,
you know, everybody was really good, but God, you know, what a combination.
yeah.
And your vocals, I must say right here, your vocals are amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Quite honestly, when I look back on those vocals, I sort of cringe a little bit because I know I could have did them so much better.
Yeah, but you captured the spontaneity, and there's nobody before or since, and I listen to everything, and even the new bands that are around today, and there is nothing like it. I don't know where you were coming from.
Yeah, that was definitely there, beyond a shadow of a doubt, along with some good weed. But
yeah, I can
unfortunately, but we eventually just parted ways. Him and Gary went out to LA.
Right.
And I stayed here, and I was devastated by the whole situation. Because it was my whole life, my love, everything. And
Yeah.
I was crushed. And then that was it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember listening to the radio. I'm calling from Seattle, and I was living here then at the time, 1970, you know, and I heard some cuts off of Kingdom Come, and I was just like, good Lord, you know, even at the time, you know, it's just so intense. I mean, because all the other metal bands like Deep Purple and Black Sabbath that were really hot at the time were slow and plodding.
Right.
And then here comes, you know, this band that's just like, God, you know, it's more like the Stooges than Black Sabbath because it was just so frantic. And so it just stuck, you know, ever since then.
If we would have stayed together, man, we would have been really big.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure of that.
The albums would have been excellent.
Because they're still, those two albums are still way ahead of their time. Like I say, I still turn people on to those. I said, oh, God, you know, you got to hear this. And, you know, without question, they're always just, like, blown away. Absolutely blown away. Where did the name come from, by the way?
Actually, the name came from Mike Appel. He just liked Lord Baltimore, and like I guess he wanted to like make people think we were from England.
Yeah.
Which we didn't mind. You know.
Yeah, it was very cryptic. You know, it's like God.
Who cares if they think we're from England? All I cared about was playing.
Yeah.
Who cared? You know, he was doing that thing. You know.
Yeah.
As you get older, you start caring about those things. But
yeah.
Maybe that's what a lot of that spontaneity was. That wild youth, that high energy, you know.
Yeah.
But geez, you know, I would have liked to have kept that band together and worked the things out, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of that. Because as they say, you could have been a contender.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, you know, I make a living, you know, playing weddings here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's when you think about it, you know, it's a big, you swallow, you know, a lot of pride swallowing.
Mhm.
You know, but you got to make a buck, right?
Well, yeah, and you know, and that's kind of the way the music business works. You know, it's like it seems like 9 times out of 10 the people that really have something to offer creatively
That's another thing.
get jerked around and get lost in the wayside. And
when I was the second album when it came out and we started, you know, fading away a little bit.
Mhm.
Gary was in my house and I was here and I got a call from Mike Appel. Mike Appel says, "Hey John, you know, there's this guy, his name's Bruce Springsteen, he needs a drummer." I said, "Yeah." I said, "You know, this was 1971 and a half, maybe 1972."
Yeah.
And I said, "Gee," I said, "Where's Bruce Springsteen, man?" You know, I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And then I asked Gary, you know, I said, "Gary, do you know who Bruce Springsteen is?" He goes, "Yeah, he's some folk artist."
Yeah.
Folk
Yeah, they were
artist.
saying he was the next Bob Dylan at the time.
Now, you know, to a hard rockin' metaler, you say folk artist.
Right.
Dirty word. Wow, get out of here, man. I ain't gonna play for him, right? Forget about it. But the thing was, Mike, I was making $215 a week playing with this band, doing clubs around, you know, the New York area.
Right.
And Mike Appel's offering me $115 a week.
Yeah.
So I said, "Hey man, first of all, I don't even know who this guy is. Second of all, I'm no folk drummer."
Right. Yeah. No question about that.
You know what I mean? I was thinking the mom is pop, is Bob Dylan, you know, give me a break.
Right.
You know, and I said, "Nah, I don't think so, you know."
Yeah.
Let me know anyway, you know.
That's weird.
And I just forget about it. And here's another little interesting piece of what's the word?
Nostalgia or trivia or any of those things. Yeah.
Trivia is the word. Another interesting piece of trivia. You know who Jimmy Iovine is?
Oh yeah.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Iovine was a good friend of ours.
No, he was producing the third sessions, right? That's what Lewis said.
Yeah, he was engineering the third sessions.
Mhm.
And what was I going to say? I had something on my piece of nostalgia. What was it? Trivia. Oh, yeah. So he got me an audition with Mark Farner
All right.
from
Yeah, Grand Funk.
Funk. So here I am dressed in my like English shoes and English, you know, like type of long jacket, very New York, London, kind of dressed. And I get on the plane, I go to Flint, Michigan, and these guys were like totally opposite me.
Yeah, I bet.
As far as dress, you know, they got their dungarees, their boots on, and their, you know, lumberjack
Yeah.
and all that kind of thing. And I didn't mind, you know, no big deal, nothing like that, just the way it went. And I auditioned for the guy.
Mhm.
And to make a long story short, after a week, he tells me he's not looking for the style of drummer that I am. Now, I always thought that Mark Brewer, Don Brewer,
Yeah.
was not my type of drummer.
Yeah,
I
no,
go
no.
for him. He was more like rinky-dinky kind of.
Yeah.
I was laying down heavy, hard John Bonham type beats at this time.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had bloomed into a heavier, instead of playing, I was playing a lot less notes, and I was starting to get heavier with the sound.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey man, I got the stuff sounded dynamite. I played some really nice drums or whatever he was doing. He sang some harmonies with him. But to make a long story short, he told me that he wasn't used to my style of drumming. He ended up using Elliot Randall. Elliot.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's a drummer. Well, Elliot Randall is a guitarist, isn't he?
I'm not sure what he plays. I know
Elliot Newman. Elliot Newman.
Elliot
sorry.
Newman.
Elliot
Huh.
Newman's a session drummer. Anyway, the album went nowhere,
Huh.
and he fizzed away.
Yeah.
And then they gave me $100 for expense money.
Yeah.
And before I left to go home, he asked me for the money I didn't use.
Oh, jeez.
$65. You believe this shit? Man, fucking guy's got fucking platinum
God.
album. He's asking me for $60.
Yeah.
Frick.
Oh, man. Jeez. Some things never change, man. They're still like that. They're still like that. Yeah. You know.
Big deal. You know, he pays for my plane fare out there, man. But hey, I gave him my time, man.
Yeah. Well, I do tree work, you know. I play in this band and I do tree work, you know. It pays the bills and it's...
What kind of work?
Tree work?
Tree?
Yeah, we do tree removals and pruning and all that kind of stuff, and tree climber.
Right.
So climb up these trees and hack them down. There's lots of trees out here, you know, so...
Yeah, definitely. So...
Keeps me busy, so... but, you know, it's like... Even some of the better-known bands around here, you know, they all got their regular jobs. You know, this big scene is happening here in Seattle now, and all these guys are still, you know, working in coffee shops and,
Right.
you know, except for Nirvana, which is big time now. But
I still say if me and Louie, well, Gary, you heard about Gary, right?
no.
Gary's working. He's like a Wall Street guy now. He works.
Oh, right, okay. And Joey's the one that's in the medical.
Joey what?
Joey's the one that's in the medical profession now, I guess.
Right. Joey's in the medical profession. And,
Gary's on Wall Street.
well, medical profession. He's a nurse.
Yeah. Okay.
Medical profession sounds a lot better, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, that's respectable.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm sure he's making good money, too. I'm sure his paycheck blows mine out of the water, you know.
Yeah, right.
God.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
That's wild.
Tough. I'm over here. I'm thinking I don't want a city job, you know, and I want to get this together. And I have some friends out in North Hollywood where Louis is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I could look up my friends, you know, Jimmy Iovine. I could look up Richie Zito and Joey Carbone. See what's happening, see if we could do anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a last spread. You know, I gained some weight, but hey, man, I'm the same old me.
Oh, well, you know, I'd be all ears, I'll tell you that. Because, you know, that's the funny thing. You know, that second album came out, and I remember I picked it up at the time, and, you know, and I was real good at family trees. You know, I go, oh, you know, I'd get some new record by some new group, and I go, oh, yeah, he used to be in so-and-so. And your guys' names never showed up anywhere. And I thought, this is ridiculous. You know, these guys are amazing. You know, and, you know, they don't show up anywhere else. And, I looked around for years. There was a little blip in Crawdaddy about 75 that said, you know, Sir Lord Baltimore's reunited. You know, and I was like all hot, and it's like, oh, yeah, and I was like, oh, God, this is great, you know, because it was the only thing I'd ever read. And even here it is 20 years later, and I've, yeah.
In 75?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we were reunited.
Yeah.
That's when the third album might have came.
Yeah, and that's, you know, I said, so I waited, nothing ever happened. And here's 20 years, and I've turned up, you know, the 2 albums. I've even got a German copy of Kingdom Come.
German, huh?
And the only single I know you guys put out was Master Heartache. Was there any other singles?
No, that's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, so I finally turned that up.
What's your address?
5042.
5042.
17th Avenue Northeast.
17th Avenue Northeast.
Seattle, Washington.
Seattle, Washington.
98105.
98105?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, it's like 20 years, that's all I've turned out. Oh, and the tour program. And then I've hooked up with a guy in Maryland about 3 weeks ago that has a Mercury Bio and promo posters, so I'm waiting to get those in the mail. But you know, it's 20 years, so I got like a poster and a bio. So that'll be interesting.
I've been in record world.
God, it actually, what's this guy's name? He does collector's mail orders. He calls himself Audible Deafenings. I think he's out of Maryland. And yeah.
Well, if you're being that you're so interested, and you sound like a really nice guy, what I could do for you is send you those four finished parts that might have been put in our third album.
That'd be amazing.
Okay.
That'd be amazing, yeah, because it's like...
You would see and hear the maturity
Uh-huh.
that became us. I wasn't happy with the drum sounds. There was a mix-up in the drum sounds. What happened? Jimmy Iovine recorded the drum sounds 10 dBs hotter on a master tape, right? We were recording at record plant in the city.
Right.
And then Jimmy Iovine was out of it because Mike wasn't spending any more money or something.
Right.
I forget the exact details of what happened, but Mike brought this tape to be copied. Copy. And by making a DBX copy, they recorded it 10 dBs colder than it was.
Right.
You know what dBs are on, on the machine, right?
Yeah.
So the tape made the drums sound boxish rather than alive.
Yeah.
And tonal. So that was the only...
That's too bad, because I really like the drum sound of the other two albums, even though, you know, it's relatively...
Sound, you know, Jimmy was pretty cool, you know, at getting the good drum sounds. The thing was, like I said, he stopped working with Jimmy for purposes of Bruce Springsteen, you know, the mission suit and everything. And he went to the studio that demanded to have DBX tape. So they made a copy, and they screwed up the copy by making it 10 dBs lower than the original was.
Oh, man.
So that's the only thing. But you could EQ it up a little bit, you know.
Yeah, well, it'll be a real treat, I'll tell you, after all these years. And
no problem, my friend.
Absolutely.
My pleasure.
Absolutely no info. Lewis said you might have, like, he calls them garage tapes. Like, do you have any tapes like that around, like rehearsals or...
Oh, well, yeah, I have... But, you know, stuff like that isn't protected or anything.
Yeah.
I just guess I want to do something in the future with them, you know.
Yeah.
They're not protected, so I wouldn't... To be honest with you, I wouldn't give them out, really.
Yeah.
Unless they were protected. Like, who knows what may happen in the future, you know.
Yeah.
Might do a Don Henley thing, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
His band's pretty hot out here, Don Henley.
Well...
He's up front now.
Yeah, that's possible.
Up front singing.
Yeah.
On the drums. And, geez, I heard a cut on MTV the other night. It was pretty hot. He had a girl bass player that was blowing me away.
Yeah, I think that could be pretty happening. Well, I definitely, I'd hate to see you get out from behind the drums, although your vocals could certainly stand on their own.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah?
I don't think I could scream and play that fast anymore. Quite honestly, I used to, like, almost black out while I was doing it.
Oh, I can imagine, because that's just, I mean, I almost black out listening to it, because it's just like, God, this is too much.
Yeah,
you know, and
run out of air and, like, get a little, like, you know, like a little blackoutish.
Yeah.
Get a little, it used to scare me a little bit, but hey, man, I put all I had into it.
Yeah, well, it comes across, believe me, because like I say, after all the frantic energy that punk rock had and everything, and those records still sound intense.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where a lot of those older records just don't sound as intense anymore because there's so much stuff out now that's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
But those are still there. Actually, you know, I talked to Lewis about this. I know of some labels I could put you in contact with that would be happy to issue, you know, older material. The only,
As far as making some bread?
well, the only thing is, I don't know how much money there'd be in it. And the other thing is, it would be fairly limited. It would just reach people like me who are collectors and are interested in hearing the music after all these years. So it'd really reach a fairly limited market, but, you know, that'd be something for you to consider. I can't really say, because I don't know how much they pay for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's this one label called, well, they started out as mail order, and they're called Paradise Lost, and like one of the things they released is the guitar player from the Shadows of Night apparently put out a really psychedelic record after he left the band, sort of Hendrix influenced, and they released that, for example, and that's the kind of stuff they put out, but I don't really know how much, you know, they pay for those things.
Right, yeah. Well, you know, you see, the thing you got to watch out for is if you intend to ever get back together again and put something out, there may be some infringement suits, you know.
Right.
You might well have to sue somebody for putting out something that you put out, then it's pirating and all of that. You know, who knows? You know?
Right.
It's just better to play it safe, but being that, you know, you went through so much trouble and you sound like a real straight-up guy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to send you a tape, you know, and you could listen to it.
Yeah, that'd be a treat. That'd be a real treat.
All right, nice talking to you, bro.
Yeah, well, thank you, and thanks for spending the time, and
Yeah, no problem.
I'll look forward to the tape, and thanks for all these years of enjoyment, because, you know, I still listen to those records, and they still sound great, so,
Thank you, man.
way to go.
Second album, too, right?
Huh?
You got the second
Oh, yeah, you bet. I got everything there is, I think.
Okay, buddy.
All right, take care.
All the best.
Bye.
Copy. And by making a DBX copy, they recorded it 10 dBs colder than it was.
Right.
You know what dBs are on
Yeah.
on the machine, right?
Yeah.
So the tape made the drums sound boxish rather than alive
Yeah.
and tonal. So that was the only.
That's too bad, because I really like the drum sound of the other two albums, even though, you know, it's
the
relatively...
drum sound, you know, Jimmy was pretty cool, you know, at getting the good drum sounds. The thing was, like I said, he stopped working with Jimmy for purposes of Bruce Springsteen, you know, the
Right.
mission suit and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to the studio that demanded to have DBX tape. So they made a copy, and they screwed up the copy by making it 10 dBs lower than the original was.
Oh, man.
So that's the only thing. But you could chew it up a little bit, you know.
Yeah, well, it'll be a real treat, I'll tell you, after all these years, and
No problem, my friend.
absolutely,
My pleasure.
absolutely no info. Lewis said you might have, like, he calls them garage tapes. Like, do you have any tapes like that around, like rehearsals, or...
Oh, well, yeah, I have. But, you know, stuff like that isn't protected or anything.
Yeah.
I just guess I want to do something in the future with them, you know.
Yeah.
They're not protected, so I wouldn't, to be honest with you, I wouldn't give them out, really.
Yeah.
Unless they were protected. Like, who knows what may happen in the future, you know.
Yeah.
Might do a Don Henley thing, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
His band's pretty hot out here, Don Henley.
Well,
He's up front now.
yeah, that's possible.
Front singing.
Yeah.
On the drums. And, geez, I heard a cut on MTV the other night. It was pretty hot. He had a girl bass player that was blowing me away.
Yeah, I think that could be pretty happening. Well, you know, definitely, I'd hate to see you get out from behind the drums, although your vocals could certainly stand on their own.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah?
I think I could scream and play that fast anymore. Quite honestly, I used to, like, almost black out while I was doing it.
Oh, I can imagine, because that's just, I mean, I almost black out listening to it, because it's just like, God, this is too much.
Yeah,
you know, and
run out of air and like get a little, like like a little blackoutish.
Yeah.
Get a little. It used to scare me a little bit, but hey, man, I put all I had into it.
Yeah, well, it comes across, believe me, because like I say, after all the frantic energy that punk rock had and everything, and those records still sound intense.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where a lot of those older records just don't sound as intense anymore because there's so much stuff out now that's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
But those are still there. Actually, I talked to Lewis about this. I know of some labels I could put you in contact with that would be happy to issue, older material.
As far as making some bread?
Well, the only thing is, I don't know how much money there'd be in it. And the other thing is, it would be fairly limited. It would just reach people like me who are collectors and are interested in hearing the music after all these years. So it'd really reach a fairly limited market, but, that'd be something for you to consider. I can't really say, because I don't know how much they pay for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's this one label called, they started out as mail order, and they're called Paradise Lost, and like one of the things they released is the guitar player from the Shadows of Night apparently put out a really psychedelic record after he left the band, sort of Hendrix influenced, and they released that, for example, and that's the kind of stuff they put out, but I don't really know how much, they pay for those things.
Right, yeah. Well, you see, the thing you got to watch out for is if you intend to ever get back together again and put something out, there may be some infringement suits,
Right.
You might well have to sue somebody for putting out something that you put out, then it's pirating and all of that. Who knows?
Right.
It's just better to play it safe, but being that, you went through so much trouble and you sound like a real straight-up guy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to send you a tape, and you could listen to it.
Yeah, that'd be a treat. That'd be a real treat.
All right, nice talking to you, bro.
Yeah, well, thank you, and thanks for spending the time, and
yeah, no problem.
I'll look forward to the tape, and thanks for all these years of enjoyment, because, I still listen to those records, and they still sound great, so, way to go.
Second album, too, right?
Huh?
You got the second
Oh, yeah, you bet. I got everything there is, I think.
Okay, buddy.
All right, take care.
All the best.
Bye.
We both jogged on together, me boys, father a little all day. And we both jogged on together, me boys, father a little all day. For since you had your will and me, come well to me your name. Likewise your occupation and where and whence you came. My name is Mickey the Drover boy from Dublin town, come I. And I live at the side of the ups and downs, father a little all day. And I live at the side of the ups and downs, father a little all day. She got to Aylesbury, her butter was not sold, and the losing of a maidenhead, it made her blood run cold. He's gone, he's gone, he's gone, she said, he's not the lad for me. For he lives at the side of the ups and downs, father a little all day. For he lives at the side of the ups and downs, father a little all day.
Good morning to you now. The maid replied, kind sir, she cried, I've lost my spotted cow. The maid replied, kind sir, she cried, bent their way while brightly shone the moon. At night they homeward bend their way while brightly shone the moon.
It's a rosebud in a June, and the violets in full bloom, and the small birds singing love songs on each spray. We'll pipe and we'll sing love, we'll dance in a ring, love, when each lad takes his last along the green grass, and it's all to plough where the fat oxen graze low, and the lads and the lasses to sheep shearing go. When we have all sheared all our jolly, jolly sheep, what joy can be greater than to talk a fair increase? We'll pipe and we'll sing love, we'll dance in a ring, love, when each lad takes his last along the green grass, and it's all to plough where the fat oxen graze low, and the lads and the lasses to sheep shearing go. For the flesh it is good, it's the best of all food, and their wool it will clothe us and keep our backs from the cold. We'll pipe and we'll sing love, we'll dance in a ring, love, when each lad takes his last